disaster, all kinds of calamity. These and many others are reasons why men fear. Reasons for fear. Reasons for fear. But today, from our passage that we read today, the Lord is speaking to you and is speaking to me. He's encouraging your heart, encouraging my heart as his children, that in times like this, fear not. That is the word of the Lord unto you, if you are one of his children. And I'm sure you know that it is the Lord who is speaking here. You are convinced that it is the Lord who is speaking, and is speaking to who? To his people. I'm sure you have heard this, that the phrase or the words, fear not, appear many times in the Bible. In fact, some commentators will help us to appreciate that you have one fear not for each day. And so, we say to our friends, we say to our colleagues, you have no need to fear. Don't worry, fear not. Yes, this is the word of the Lord. But before we go far into studying what the Lord has in his mind for us today, can I say to you, it may not sound very, very, very good, but the truth of the matter is that it is not everybody in this world that has no need to fear. For your information, many people have reasons to fear. And I want us to take note of that. Lest you continue to give people a false hope. Sinners need to fear. These are days of the end. The judgment of God is very close. God is doing a work to make a difference between those who know him and those who know him not. Not every man need not to fear. Many ladies need to fear. Many boys need to fear. Many individuals need to fear. That is the truth of the scriptures. But there are also those who need not to fear. Can we quickly look at those who need to fear and those who need not to fear? But do you know one strange thing I observe in my work is that those who need not to fear are the people who are actually fearing, if there is any word like that. Whereas men who need to fear, have been given false hope that they don't need to fear. Who are those who need to fear? Who are those who need not to fear? From verse 1 of Isaiah chapter 43 that we read, the Lord said, "But now thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine." Who does not need to fear? Even in the face of challenges of life like this, who are those people who need not to fear? Men and women, boys and girls that have been redeemed by the Lord. Who need to fear? If you have not been redeemed by the Lord, you need to fear. I'm sure you have heard me say this before. When we say the redeemed of the Lord, we are not talking about members of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. We are talking about boys, girls, men, women who have the assurance that they have been bought, they have been redeemed from their sin. They have been redeemed from the grip of Satan. They now belong to the Lord. There has been a change in the ownership over their lives. Now they belong to God. Can I ask you, brother? Can I ask you, my sister? Have you been redeemed? I'm not talking about if you are a member of the New Covenant Church. Are you sure? Are you certain that you are born of God? That now you belong to him and belong to him only? Those who need not to fear. One, they must have been redeemed of the Lord. They have the assurance, the conviction that they are born of God. So sinners who have not been redeemed, even though they may be going to church, they may even be an elder in a redeemed Christian church of God, they need to fear. The end of everything is here. I don't intend to intimidate you, but more and more disturbing news will continue to increase as we get to the final. These are going to be days of shakings, days of unbelievable news. More and more will happen, not only far away from us, they may even be close by. And those who we have no need to fear are those men and women who are certain, who are convinced that they have been redeemed by the Lord. So, you may be a member of a church, but are you sure you have been redeemed of the Lord? If you are not convinced, I'm sorry to say to you, sincerely, you have a legitimate reason to fear. Because your sin will soon catch up with you. Your nakedness will soon be exposed. Only men who know their God will stand at a time like this. These are not days to follow God from a distance. These are not days to have one leg inside and one leg outside. These are days that the Lord will be making a difference between those who fear him and those who fear him not. Who need not to fear the redeemed of the Lord. You have no need to fear. Are you here? You are sure, you are convinced. You have been redeemed of the Lord. The Lord asked me to tell you this morning, sincerely, you have no need to fear. You have no need to fear. Who has no need to fear? Those who are called by his name, by the name of the Lord. The Lord said, thou art mine. You know, is there a difference, any difference at all, in the Lord saying, thou art mine, when you compare it to Babajide Stevens saying, I belong to the Lord? Is there any difference between the two? One is, I am telling you that I belong to the Lord. The first one is saying the Lord is attesting to him that truly I belong to him. They may look alike, but they are slightly different. Many claim that they belong to him, but it's another thing for God to attest that you are truly mine. Can God confidently, brother, say that you belong to him? Sister, can God confidently say you belong to him? Jesus said, on that day, many will say, we preach in your name, we cast out devils in your name. He said, and I will say to them, you know what made me afraid was that he said, I knew you not. And I'm wondering, is there a difference between I knew you not and I don't know you again? Is there a difference? Any difference? You see, I don't know you again can mean that maybe you are now fatter. You know, this mask that we are using, if you are not careful, you are not able to recognize some people. So it's possible for me to say, sorry, madam, you know now you are a madam, you are bigger. So I cannot easily recognize you. But what Jesus said is, sincerely, we check our record here. We have never known you. And I'm wondering, to them, they said they belong to the Lord. But was the Lord able to confirm that they belong to him? So who need not to fear? The redeemed of the Lord, those called by his name, those that God can attest to that they belong to him. I'm not saying those who said they belong to God. My brother, my sister, you might be claiming that you belong to God. But are you sure? Are you very, very sure that God can attest to it that you belong to him? If God should appear here, you see, as for us, when we are counting our members, we count you as an integral member. But if the Lord should come, will he count you as one? You know, he knows you. You know, he knows me. He knows what I think. He knows where I go. He knows what I do in my station where nobody is there. He knows me in and out. As far as he is concerned, nothing is hidden before him. He knows all secrets, including my secret. Those secrets I'm keeping from my wife. And I'm smart enough that in the last 14 years, nobody has been able to discover it. He knows. If he should be here today, will he attest to the fact that you are his? In heart, in thought, in meditation, in conduct, in public, in secret. If God cannot attest to the fact that you belong to him, I'm sorry to announce to you, you have reason to fear. For these are days that the Lord will put a difference between those who belong to him and those who belong to him not. As many who have not been redeemed, they have reasons to fear. As many that God cannot confirm that they are his, they have reason to fear. But you know, the good news is that today is another opportunity. This moment is another privilege for you to say, God, today I surrender my heart to you. Yes, though I'm a member of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, but yet I am not redeemed. Today I surrender my heart to you. Though I'm a founding member of the New Covenant Church, but I know I am not redeemed. Today, Lord, I surrender my heart to you. I know I am clever. As for our pastor, he will think that I belong to God. But even me, sir, I know in the heart of my heart that there are happenings all around. But the Lord is saying, fear not. Who should be afraid? Who should not be afraid? You remember we read from Psalm 91, from verse 1 to 6. In addition to being redeemed of the Lord, in addition to the fact that the Lord will attest that I belong to him, who should not be afraid? He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High. One thing is for a man to be redeemed. A girl may be redeemed, and God can attest that she belongs to him. But brother, sister, it is another thing to be dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. Those who we have no reason to fear at a time like this are the redeemed of the Lord, who are his, and who also dwell in the secret place of the Most High. If you wouldn't mind, can you help me ask your neighbor, where do you dwell? Where are you living? Are you dwelling in God's secret place, where the Lord is dwelling? See, these are not days for us to be outside. You cannot be outside. These are not days to be outside the covering of the Lord. These are not days that you stray away into the territories of the enemy. May I tell you, brother, may I tell you, my sister, the days we are in are not days that you can say, let me quickly dash into the camp of the enemy and I will return. These are not days to say, this lady that has been doing like this to me all this while, let me quickly take advantage of her. May I tell you something? The days we are in, anybody who dares to cross into the territory of the enemy, devil is not intending to wound you. He's intending to destroy you. Any minor opportunity, he finish your life. You see, there are some harms the devil does to the life of a man, that even though God has forgiven him, his life remains irreparable. I'm sure you don't intend to allow the enemy to inflict such a damage upon your life. Who should not fear those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High? So if I may ask you, where are you dwelling? Please don't just visit God's secret place, dwell there. These are days to dwell in the secret place of the Most High. But if you are dwelling outside, brother, sister, if one of your legs is still outside, you have reason to fear. These are not days for half-hearted Christianity. These are not days for me to follow the Lord halfway. I must come close. I must come inside and dwell with him in his secret place. Two reasons, two tricks, two deceits of the enemy that he is using to make believers who are redeemed of the Lord, who belong to the Lord, to fear in the face of challenges of life. You know, verse 2 says, when thou go through the water, when you pass through the fire. I find it very interesting that the Lord did not deny the fact that sometimes in our lives, it looks as if we are going through the river. Sometimes in our lives, we go through fire. You know, nobody really likes it, I'm sure. And I'm sure nobody is praying for that. And if I'm praying at all, I will pray that God will deliver me from fire. I don't know your own prayer. I will rather pray that God will deliver me from rivers. But there are times in our lives, people of God, that we go through rivers. There are times in our lives that we pass through fire. God's provision is not to deliver me from it. His word is that I will pass through. To pass through means I must be patient, because there is the other side. It will soon be over, and the Lord will soon lead you to a large land, a land of peace. But you see, one of the deceits of the enemy when we are going through difficult times in life is to tell us, is to deceive us that you are going through challenges of life because you are not ease, or you are no longer ease. That is because you no longer belong to the Lord. But it's a deceit of the enemy. That's why the Lord is saying here, even though you may be going through waters and rivers and fire, you are mine. The Lord wants me to say to somebody today, don't swallow the trick of the enemy. The fact that life challenges are all around you does not mean that you are no longer it. He is announcing to you today, you are mine, you remain his. Even those who belong to him can go through what they will certainly go through waters and fire. You are his. You remain his. It's not only sinners who go through challenges in life. Believers also do. It's not in all the cases you have answers to the questions of life. There are some you will need to just submit to the plan and the program of God. One other deceit of the enemy when we go through troubles is to tell us that you are going through it all alone, that God has abandoned you. Can you see yourself now? You claim that you belong to the Lord. Now he left you alone, going through this problem all alone by yourself. You are alone in this challenge. But you will see the Lord speaking here. He said, when you go through the rivers, I go through it with you. You see, when I came across this passage, I found it very comforting and refreshing. That so what I'm going through now, you are right here. You say, but I cannot see him. You say, I cannot feel him. You say, I can't touch him. But you can trust his word. You can trust his faithfulness. He's saying to that brother, he's saying to that sister, you are going through the rivers, you are going through the waters. I am going through it with you. I am by your side. You are not alone. For your information, sister, you are not alone. In that problem, you are not alone. That is the reason that problem has not swallowed you up. Yes, it's overwhelming. It's really challenging. And you are wondering, when will it end? But the Lord is saying, while you are going through it, I am right there with you. I want you to look at yourself and say, the Lord is with me. Even though I can't see him, I may not be able to touch him, but he's saying to me, he's reassuring your heart that in this challenge you are going through, I am going through it with you. You know, that is comforting. That is inspiring. The Lord is saying, you are not there all alone by yourself. I am going through it with you. What are we going through?